Greetings, YouTubers. So, I say that a lot. So, anybody remember that movie, National Treasure? She says "so" a lot. So every time I say that, I think of that movie. I did some research on the rocks here in La Posa South. Research. It means I talked to a couple of folks that are familiar with the area out on the trail, and I Googled some stuff and read some stuff. So I talked about this. When was that? Today or yesterday? I can't recall. About desert shellac. And the proper term, and I heard that term from somebody that I met out on the trail. They said, "Hey, you familiar with this area? How come these rocks look like that?" He called it desert shellac, and it's actually called desert varnish. It's also referred to as rock varnish. The two are essentially the same thing. The delineation seems to be that desert varnish is found intrinsically in places that are arid, the desert. So this is desert varnish. And but this same process is found also in places that are humid, and in the Arctic, Alaska, and places that are cold, places that are wet. Water does not seem to be playing a part in the process. Wind, surprisingly, also does not seem to be playing a part in the process. If it's in Alaska, then I question whether or not heat plays a part in the process. Look how shiny that is. I mean, it does. It looks like it's varnished. You can see the light shine off of it. And in fact, what I've discovered, at least, in the places that I visited, maybe there's some more comprehensive information out there, but is that they don't fully understand the process. What I can tell you is that the varnish is microns thick. Micron is a millionth of an inch. And it's deposited in layers over millennia. So this coating that we're looking at right here is 1,000 or thousands of years old. This patina does not happen quickly. It's layered in angstroms. Angstroms are measurements of a wavelength of light. That's thin. That's some thin stuff to make this micron thick coating on the stone, and it ranges anywhere from red, this is more of an orange, to black, dark brown. So the orangish layer that I was seeing on rocks, while it is ferric in nature, Fe, it is not related to the soil or the sediment that it's sitting in. This is something that is deposited on rocks as they sit on the surface, and it involves clay. Some of the theories suggest that the clay creates a host surface for a biological agent that converts materials into this varnish. The varnish chemically, among other elements, it is mostly manganese and iron. So the iron is the more reddish color, and the manganese is the darker black-brown colors. And they think that these microbes convert somehow manganese and iron into ferric oxide, manganese oxide, and create this this varnish on rocks. So what we're looking at here, so let me pause here for a second and take a step back. So this takes 1,000 years, millennia, multiple millennia, to produce this patina, this gloss, this shine, this varnish. And when I'm out and walking, there are acres and acres of these rocks that are coated like this. And it means that they have to be there for millennia undisturbed. So there's a couple of things that are fascinating. One is, that this takes such a long time for it to produce. It's such a thin process. It doesn't have anything to do with oxidation reduction like I originally thought. And it takes thousands of years. That means that these rocks that are out here, outside my trailer, have been here undisturbed for thousands of years in order to achieve this coating. And in fact, I can go to places where the BLM has, bulldozed areas to kind of clear roads and that kind of thing. And the rock is completely different in appearance. It's like I would expect to see an amalgamation of multivariable rock types. It doesn't adhere to some stones like limestone. It's very pH sensitive, and so limestone apparently doesn't meet the pH requirement. It tends to stick to basaltic materials, which are volcanic in nature, and sandstones, which I found surprising. It doesn't like granite. Doesn't like limestone. So, I got a clue from, a fellow hiker that I met on the trail, and I chased that down a little bit on the internet, and I finally have a little more understanding about this process. But it's something that science hasn't completely explained. They don't understand this varnishing process, other than the slim smattering of facts that I've offered to you here. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm fascinated. I find it very cool, and I hope some of you do too. So, all right, this is going to be a short video. Just I wanted to kind of relay that information to you and tell you what I've discovered about this shiny coating that I'm finding on rocks everywhere. All right, you guys, love you, appreciate you. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for your comments, your views, your I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you guys do in that regard. I mean, I try to produce stuff that I think is interesting. Some stuff is just, I know it is, and it is. It's just not. And every once in a while when I come up with something interesting like this, I find this interesting. So I hope you do too. And if you do, hit that thumbs button and subscribe to the channel. Every once in a while I'll come up with something reasonably decent worth looking at. All of the fluff in between is just that, unfortunately, just fluff. But all right, you guys, love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you later.